I read his book, and I had also had negative opinions of him before I actually read what he said.
Here's the interesting part, though. Because Bobby just started saying, hey, I'm not a completely woke Democrat. You may remember I warned him very early on, you will not be a Democrat by the end of this thing. I don't know if you'll be a Republican, but you will not be a Democrat. He started, in essence, leaving the Democrat Party, although they really did push him out. Some people leave voluntarily. They pushed him out. Let's not forget that when he was running during the primaries, the Democrats were trying to rig the primaries so that any state where Joe Biden's name was on the ballot as a primary, which of course he was on every state ballot, that if Bobby ran, he would get no mandates whatsoever. Anyway, what Cheryl and Bobby decided to do was go to the alternate media. And that's what blew up Maha. That's what connected, I would say, Maha to MAGA, because Trump was all about the alternative media for the last 10 years. And take a look.
By the way, when Bobby decided to run, and I talk about this in my book, Unscripted, but when he came on your podcast was a game changer, right? Because everything that you're saying, it is true. And the press was going hard. They still do. They were going hard at Bobby, like he's this, he's that. Here's what he thinks. Here's what he, represents. And then he came on your podcast, and you guys had a conversation.
Yeah.
And you're curious, and you're a great listener, and you're not judgmental. And people heard what Bobby had to say. And it changed everything for him.
Well, I think it helped also that I knew who he was. I read his book, and I had also had negative opinions of him before I actually read what he said.
Interesting.
Yeah. No.
What were your opinions?
Before the pandemic,
Okay.
I was firmly on the side of science. Okay. I was much more of a left-wing leaning person. Mm-hmm. I just assumed these people running universities, these academics, whatever they said was accurate. Mm-hmm. Everybody else was a fool, and they believed in snake oil and witchcraft. Mm-hmm. Right. This is what I thought.
Okay.
And then during the pandemic, I was like, okay, these experts are clearly lying. I know they're lying because they're literally lying about me.
All right, if you follow politics, you know everyone's got an opinion. Your group chats the pundits, and yes, even me. But on Polymarket, you get something better. Well, maybe not than me, but it's still pretty good. Real odds on what's actually likely to happen. Polymarket is a prediction market where people trade on real events, elections, debates, policy moves, and more. And it doesn't stop at politics. You'll find markets on the economy, tech, sports, pop culture, and even random internet moments that blow up for a week. It's live, transparent, and gives you a legit vibe check on what people really think. You've definitely heard about Polymarket before, so take a second and check it out. Head on over to polymarket.com right now. So there's a reason I'm showing you this beyond just the obvious part that online media is now important and mainstream media lies and politics is dirty. I want to now connect this to something that happened within the last 48 hours, which is this is utterly insane. And it's a perfect illustration of what Cheryl was talking about right there. This is a hearing about ICE. And a woman by the name, I think we've covered her once or twice before a few weeks ago, a New Jersey representative. Her name is LaMonica McIver. And listen to her attacking ICE Director Todd Lyons. Does not matter what you think, whether ICE is good, bad, indifferent. Look at the way she attacks him, and then think about what Cheryl was saying about how the way they will try to manipulate you. Watch.
Mr. Lyons, do you consider yourself a religious man?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yes. Okay, well, how do you think Judgment Day will work for you with so much blood on your hands?
I'm not going to entertain that question.
Oh,
ma'am.
okay, of course not. Do you think you're going to hell, Mr. Lyons?
I'm not going to entertain.
Of course not. How many government...
Gentlelady will...
Again, criminals act with that total disregard for the law, and we continue to see it. You would both have us talk about respect for your mission and your agents. But your agencies are unaccountable, paramilitary forces, and I have just as much respect for you as I do for the last white men who put on masks to terrorize communities of color. I have no respect for the inheritors of the Klan Hood and the Slave Patrol.
I mean, holy sheep. When I tell you there is no one left in the Democrat Party to stop the lunacy, that is a perfect example. So LaMonica McIver was the first woman. We'll get to her comments in a second. The second one was Dalia Martinez from Chicago, both Democrats, progressives. Does that strike you as the type of rhetoric that should be going on in a hearing about ICE? Again, let's say you have whatever your concerns are about ICE's mission, their behavior, and everything else. There's a way to question that. That could be honest. You could say, well, tell us about how many officers you have in there, and tell us a little bit about the chain of command, and what are the standard operating procedures when a group of people get in their way, and how do you tell them to negotiate for a while or ask people to get out of the streets? There's so many ways you could do something honest and real. Again, whether I agree with their tactics or she agrees with their tactics or anything else, but that's not what they did. That is the most hyper manipulative, and I would say downright evil, honestly, downright evil stuff that you could toss out at a hearing.